Oops, sorry about that. Hey, everybody, I am Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. It's a vape, I promise. Barbara Aldrich, good to see you. Sandy Wandy, how are you? Krista Melinda, glad that you're here. Sandy Wandy, good to see you. And there's the other Aldrich. Jane, how are you? Jane, thank you for the support, for always being there. Timothy Glass, you know what? Timothy, you put a lump in my throat yesterday. You really did. It's I appreciate you. It felt fantastic. Thank you. Clifton Ferguson, good to see you. Tony Suter, how are you? Welcome back. Life of Dennis. Dennis, thank you for the support, my brother. You may not believe this, Dennis, but there is not a day that goes by that I do not pray for you and for you-know-who. Much love, brother. I mean that. Wine a little bit more. Good to see you. If you saw the name of this show tonight, it's called All You Need Is Love. As I said yesterday, I got really off track. And the saddest part is I really do understand an awful lot of how this works. I spent an awful lot of time really studying this. Hey, Just Joan. And I've talked about it a million times. If you're somebody that's been on the boat for any length of time, or you've been on the channel for any length of time, I talked about how the emotional part of our brain and the executive part of our brain, the thinking part. Hey, Carolina, Canada, good to see you. They don't like to, they don't play well together, right? And when our emotions are, hello, Blue Bayou, when our emotions are kicking it, then our intelligence really aren't. And sadly, I think I've probably spent about 90 to 120 days allowing the emotional part of my existence to run the show. And I got out of habits that have kept me sober and that have made me the person that I wanted to be. I had so many people calling me a piece of shit that I started to live like one. I wasn't journaling to the same extent that I was. There were days I blew off making my bed. There were things that are so basic and so much a part of how I got sober. Anna Rosa, good to see you. Wow, so great to see you. Talking about the good old days. This is a crew member from probably about the first week or two. Been around a really long time. Yeah, great to see you. Wow. It means a lot to me. But I got off of the things that worked for me, and I made a decision with my brother to get a new start. Hello, Angel. To get a new start in a different place, and I think it was one of the best decisions of my life. I really believe that. Miss All Smokes, how are you? And it was. And I started to feel really good almost immediately, right around the 17th when Johnny and I and the cats got on a plane to leave America. There was a weight that was instantly lifted off of my shoulders. And an odd thing happened to me tonight. I felt anger again for the first time since leaving America. And it was because of a phone call. Hey, Blitz, Sandy Wendy, what's happening? Heard ya. Good to see you. Howdy. I got a phone call from someone in the United States that wanted to bring up some old issues, right? And that was not YouTube related. It was not anything related. It was stupid stuff, but it was the kind of stuff that hurt. And I let it hurt. And the emotional part of my brain started to do the same crap that I have been doing, not with anybody watching. People said, you stopped putting shows up. I stopped putting shows up because every other word out of my mouth started with the letter F. I found myself hating so many people. I found myself hating people that I used to care a great deal about. As I said in last night's feed, a lot of people have reached out to me, and some reached out to me because they're afraid that they're going to get sued because I'm suing somebody. Thank you, Johnny, by the way. I appreciate that. And you know what? To hear that you're proud of me, believe it or not, means more to me than you can imagine. Brock Bandy, thank you for being you. Brock Bandy, you're a stud. You leave some great comments, by the way. So I saw when you left somewhere else. You're you're great. I really appreciate you. But I started to become something that I didn't want to be, and I wasn't sticking needles in my arms and doing things of that nature. But you don't have to do dope to relapse, right? You can act like an asshole and do things like that without using drugs. And I had been in complete relapse. Thank you so much, Dennis. I really appreciate you, man. And you know what? I am finding peace. And a lot of it is because I'm here, right? But a lot of it is because I've gotten back to the basics that worked for me when I first started to try to get sober. And there's an announcement that I would love to tell you guys. There is a date coming up for Q. His court date is set, and he may not get it. That's the reality is the odds are not in his favor because the court sucks. However, he's got a date. He's going to go in front of a judge. And I have been keeping all of this. People say, how come you don't update us on this? Because the trolls try to keep him in prison just to hurt me, which is just incredible if you think about it. But Q got me on a path, and it was a path that I stayed on, and things started to really get fantastic. And you know what? It would be really easy to blame my problems on people, right? But my problems are my own. They are. I have spent a great deal of my life as a bad human being. But I'm going to tell you something. Hello, Jordan. Hello, Blitz. And this is the truth. I haven't been a bad person since I got out. I haven't. And the narrative that I used the audience of the lifeboat as a way to rip people off is absolutely insane. Hello, Shane. And I'm not going to put up with it anymore. I'm going to be loving about it. But that simply isn't the truth. And I bit my lip and I walked away because the narrative was etched in stone. And there were people that I thought would at least hear me out that didn't. And I had a friend reach out to me a couple of days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, to say, hey, I'm really sorry, homeboy, no hard feelings. This person disappeared out of my life for 120 days, didn't talk to me, and said, no hard feelings, but I want you to know that I've been completely neutral in this. A lot of people believe that they've been completely neutral. Let me explain neutrality. Neutrality is I hang out with both parties. I don't yell at either party. I don't do any of those things. You can hate me. I got no problem with that, right? I have lost some weight, but it was by design. However, I weigh 205 pounds. One of the reasons that I lost weight is because I started to have issues with my heart again. Hello, Monk. I started to have problems with my heart again. Atrial flutter. I don't have AFib. I have atrial flutter. And I actually had to go to the hospital for it a couple of times, and that scared the crap out of me. And when I keep my weight low, honestly, I'd like to lose about another 10, but we'll see what happens. When I can keep my weight lower, I'm able to keep my heart in good shape. Now I am in a place where I could very, very easily have the procedures done that would probably make it so that I don't have to worry about any of it. I could have ablation, and that's where they go in and they kill part of the heart muscle so that you don't get these weird things jumping all over the place. And the reason that I don't want to do it is a guy that I used to play golf with was killed having that process done. And he was killed by a doctor that I used to play golf with. I knew both parties. And the doctor walked out and said, I killed this man. I just, he didn't try to fight this or say, that this was an accident, this, that. He said, if you're a doctor and you have a bad day, It's not like being a landscaper that has a bad day, or a YouTuber that has a bad day, right? And that scared the crap out of me. I don't want a procedure that might kill me, right? It scared the crap out of me. And one of you, a YouTuber, actually reached out and said, "Hey, I've been living with this for 15 years. If you can keep your weight down," and they gave me a checklist of things that I could do. And one of them, believe it or not, is screaming at the top of my lungs. And when I get out of rhythm, my heart races. It doesn't go up and down like it does with AFib. It just is like it's like a car, an automatic transmission where you kick it into high gear by putting your foot in it all the way to the floor. It doesn't kick back down. It just stays racing. And bearing down, you know what that is, right? Like you're trying to drop a deuce. Sort of bearing down is one of the things that you can do. And screaming at the top of your lungs is one of them. And I've been able to regulate myself. I think what I need is a pacemaker, right? That's the thing that they have recommended for me. The last time I went in is it's a defibrillator / pacemaker, so that if I start getting a little out of whack, it will literally just jolt me back into rhythm. My dad had one, and I kind of didn't want it because my dad looked like he had a car battery on his chest. I mean, it was amazing. Like if you saw him without a shirt on, he just had this box under his skin. And I used to joke about it. I used to say it was his car battery. It's what kept him going. They've gotten considerably smaller. I know this because my daughter also has one. And I think that because of the healthcare system where I'm at now, I may do this. You're right. A lot of fish is going to help, right? Right now I'm doing a ton of protein and not a whole lot of carbs. So I feel very hopeful that way. But again, look at me squirreling and getting off of subject matter. A lot of people have come back, and it feels fantastic to have people come back. Sadly, there's a part of me that wants to go, why were you gone? And I'm not going to do that. I'm not. It's a disease. Honest to God, it is. It's a disease. Because what I need to do is concentrate on love, and I promise you that's what I'm going to do. So I had a conversation with my ex, with Reese, and I know that there are going to be people that grit their teeth at that. Taylor Miller, good to see you. And if you're gritting your teeth at that, then I apologize. Not because I had the conversation. I apologize because I have dropped the ball, right? I have become a person that somehow advocates for hate. And I'm ashamed of that. Liz Weed, good to see you. I literally am ashamed of that. If I've been advocating for that in any way, then shame on me. I don't, I don't think that the two of us are going to be, moving in together. But we can be friends, and we can. We had a conversation that. I would have bet you $1 million would have never happened. I would have bet you every single penny that I made recently that's not a conversation that could have taken place. And it was, what the hell was that? Something big just flew and landed on my brother's head. I don't know if it was.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. It scared the crap out of me. It looked like
you were looking right at it and it hit me.
Look on that side of the bed. Do you see it again?
No.
It looked like a butterfly is what it looked like, but it scared me, or a moth or something. It hit him and stuck right the side of his head. It wouldn't have been funny if it was me, but it was funny as hell because it was him. I wept on that call. Hello, Christopher Cooper. Good to see you. Maria, good to see you. I wept on this phone call. Again, I would have bet $1 million that probably wasn't going to happen either. And so did she. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that the emotion on both of our parts was genuine. Hey, Blitz. The way that ended was god awful. For anybody that believes for a second that there was a potential that I was going to go and injure a woman or her kid or any such thing, you should run away as fast as you possibly can. Honestly, because that is a scumbag behavior and one that I certainly would not advocate for. Angel, good to see you. But it was absolutely beautiful. It really was. And I hate the word closure. I really do. I can't stand the word closure because I don't think it exists, right? I don't think that we close things. I don't think that that's something that happens, right? But for those people who use that word, there was an amazing amount of Mothman. It could have been Mothman, Brock Bandy, no joke. A little bigger than Mothman, whatever it was that
it scared the crap out of me. You see the look on my face?
I'm sorry, bro. That was so funny. What? Yeah, I don't even want to know what it was. I really don't. Did you kill it?
Oh, yeah.
Thank God. It was huge. Whatever it was huge. Hope Between the Dreams. Good to see you. But I have a new outlook on life. And I had a new outlook on life before I had that conversation with Reese. But I certainly am in a better place now. And I have friends who have reached out to me and said, I am never going to forgive that woman. And you know what? It's not my job to tell you who to forgive and who not to, right? Not my gig, I promise. But I can tell you this. I did a show once and I said, there are two people on planet Earth that I will never forgive, ever. One, because they screwed me over and lied to me. And it was a person that had no reason to, right? And it was over a crappy small amount of money. It really was. It was money that I lent the person. And I said to the person, I don't even want this money back, right? But tell me the truth. Like if you're using this because you're strung out and you need dope, I get that, right? At the time, I was still a junkie. In fact, I was able to send him money because I had just robbed the bank. And I said to him, you don't have to pay me this back, but just be honest with me. And as it turns out, he was not honest with me. He had used that money to buy dope, and then he lied to me until basically right around the time I got arrested. And I haven't talked to him since. And the other person hurt my father. And I said, there's no way in hell that I could forgive somebody who hurt my dad, right? My dad's gone, and he was my favorite person ever. And I'm never going to forgive that person. And somebody from the boat reached out to me to talk to me and just said, you know what? They don't think about you. They don't think about you. There's not a day that goes by that those people think, oh, I wonder what Tommy Scoville's doing, right? I wonder if he's upset with me. Those people don't they probably have forgotten I exist. Holding that kind of hatred, right? Oh, it's an old Confucius said it or somebody said, but it's like drinking poison, right? And hoping it's going to kill someone else. I was advised by the same person on the lifeboat. I've learned so much more from you people than you've ever learned from me, right? That's the truth. I've learned so much more from you guys than you've ever learned from me. But the person that reached out said, may I make a suggestion to you? I said, sure. They said, pray for those two people every day for the next 30 days. And I said, pray what? Right? Like that I'll forgive them? They said, no, absolutely not. Pray that something good will happen to them. And do it for 30 days. And at the end of that 30 days, I unloaded, right? 2 backpacks full of shit that I had been carrying around for decades. A weight that was doing no good. I have not talked to either of these people. We didn't make amends. I didn't reach out to any of them, but I don't think about them anymore. And I don't hate them. And I don't spend time fixating on things that happened long ago that they've probably forgotten, right? And I got, again, so off track that I sat around hating a lot of you because you disappeared out of my chat without even a phone call, right? Or an email to say, Tommy, is there any truth to any of this stuff? That's my hang up, right? That's my hang up. I'm a guy that went to prison. We had rules in prison, right? And the rules in prison go like that. Like you hear a rumor about your homeboy, you walk into his cell and you say, hey, so-and-so said this, this, and this, right? Is it true? In the real world, that doesn't happen. In the real world, people will hear something and go, I'm out, right? I'm going to believe this person and I'm going to hate this person. And I've said it a million times. I've been in chats where I've heard people put in the chat, why do we hate this person again? Like, I'm cool hating him, right? Without even knowing why, but just, well, why is it? If you want to hate me, please feel free. But I promise you, your life isn't going to be better because of it. Right? It's not. I did a morning show with a guy who's been taking shots at me since he decided that he didn't like me. Right? And has called me a grifter and called me a con man and this and that. And I noticed he has a GoFundMe up currently trying to pay his rent, which is an odd thing to call someone a grifter and then put up a GoFundMe and ask people to pay your rent. You know something though? If I'm judging him for that, then I'm no better than any of these other people. For real. What I should be doing is praying for him. I should be praying that he can make his rent. And I should be praying that the reason that he needs this GoFundMe doesn't have anything to do with a chemical. That's what I ought to be doing. And I'll tell you something. The people that used to watch this show in the beginning watched it because I was that guy. I really was. And I took the slings and arrows in the beginning of all the people that called me a junkie and a criminal and a piece of shit and all of this stuff, because I wanted so badly to help people get sober that I was willing to take whatever abuse came along with it. And then somewhere along the way, I started to care more about how Tommy Scoville was viewed by the world than what Tommy Scoville was doing for the world. And it's unhealthy, super unhealthy. And then when everything blew up the way that it did with my ex, I got hateful, and there was nothing more cathartic than having a conversation with her and talking about it. And you know what? It was not all puppies and kittens, right? We said some things to each other that probably needed to be said, but there was a tremendous amount of love on that call. And I don't mean, I know people are going to go, oh my God, they're getting back together. Because you just can't say, I forgive somebody without people going, boom, but they're moving in together. I live 6,000 miles away, right? But love trumps hate. It does, always. And I'm going back to what worked. You know, I wanted, hello, Barbara Waite, good to see you. They don't have roller coasters as wild as your life at Cedar Point. No, I've had a very unusual life, truly. And I brought most of it on myself, right? For real. I made a lot of really bad decisions, and I was a drug addict and I was a criminal. But somebody left a comment yesterday because I said, you know what? I've paid my debt to society. And they said, no, you haven't, right? You paid your debt to society for the people that you ripped off before you got out of prison. I have news for you. I haven't ripped off anybody since getting out of prison. I haven't. And I don't have a problem telling you the things that I have done and the things that I have not. Audra in Denver, good to see you. It's been a very difficult period of time, but I am at peace in a way that I didn't think was possible. And that was prior to a really cathartic phone call with my ex. And there's not a day that will go by between now and the time I shut my eyes for the last time that I don't pray for her and her son, right? I promise you, that's a fact. Love does trump hate. It really does. And unfortunately, it doesn't sell quite as well. You feel me? Hate sells. If I put up a thumbnail and I talk and I say that I'm going to be coming on here to talk about somebody in particular, I get huge numbers, right? And it's very easy as a YouTuber to give into that, right? And go, holy shit, okay? They're all kicking, Jimmy. Maybe I'll make a crappy video about Jimmy. You know, in the early days of the lifeboat, I stood up for people. I bet you guys know who I'm talking about. But I stood up for people while everyone else was kicking them. Because that's the person that I was. It was amazing that once people realized that the long con video got 50,000 views, that those same people I stood up for made videos about what a scumbag I was because they knew it was going to pay them. And that's tough. And what I've been doing is hating those people, right? They don't know I'm hating them. They're living their lives. It's like drinking poison, right? And hoping it's going to kill someone else. I'm done with that. I am. I'm done with that. There are some people I've been trying to unblock. Unfortunately, they were blocked on, Restream, which is not a platform I was using. It was a platform that Spanx Calhoun was using. That will be remedied, hopefully before the end of today. Hope between the dreams, you do not owe me an apology. I'm not asking for an apology from anybody who walked away. That is not the point of this message, I promise you. The point of this message is this. The opposite of addiction is connection, right? Make no mistake. The opposite of addiction is connection. And connection and love are really friggin' similar. I am going to get back to, hello, Joey girl. I'm going to get back to pumping love out. And you know what? It might not sell as well as hate, but I was a much happier person. Some of the greatest days that I had as a YouTuber, there were 15 people in my live chat and I wasn't making $1. And that happened for years. This is a true story. The first year in the lifeboat, we spent a little over $8,000 helping people get on the medical assisted treatments on my credit cards, right? Because I wasn't even making $200 a month as a YouTuber. And I would take calls on Messenger any time of the day for any person that said, I'm trying to get sober, man, and I can't. You can't live like that. It almost killed me. It almost did. But I was doing the right thing consistently. Brought on an awful lot of hate, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? It really doesn't. But the more you act like a kind human being, the more you're going to be a target from people who can't handle that, right? You know the kind of people I'm talking about. You've seen them. Right? They have YouTube channels that say things like white owned or white only. I got news for you. If you hate somebody because of the color of their skin, please leave right now. Please leave my friggin' chat. Don't come back. For real. If you hate somebody because of their religion, leave my chat. Don't come back. In fact, let's just make this easy. If hate's your thing, this isn't going to be your channel. I promise you, you're not going to enjoy my content. You hear me? You're not. And I wanted to set a different tone. And so I started to call the lifeboat expat, right? Because I am now an expat. And I know that there are people that don't like that phrase because it sounds like it means that I now hate America. To expatriate means to move from your country of birth to someplace else. It doesn't mean you hate, your country. I love America. It's not what that has anything to do with. But I'm going to change the name of the channel again, and I want everybody to know. And there's going to be some laughing on this because it's been joked about for so long anyway. But I'm not going to go back to the lifeboat. I'm going to call it the love boat. No shit. We're going to change the name to the love boat. And I am going to do everything within my power. You know what? Boy, you couldn't say that any better, could you? Love heals. It does. Absolutely. And I'll tell you something else. It also clarifies. Trust and believe. It clarifies. When you start putting out nothing but love, you know what you're going to find out really quickly? You're going to find out who the bad people are because they will not be able to take it. I have encouraged people for a while, and I really am going to be encouraging you to do it now. I always say, I don't talk about trolls or whatever. The only reason that I'm not doing this lawsuit because of hate. I'm not. But I'm not going to not stand up for myself, right? Because that's kindness. It's not. It's not. Firing back at people, I'm never going to do that. It's ignorance. But you are not going to say things about me that are blatantly lies and do everything you can to hurt me in terms of my business, right? When you start calling somebody a child molester, your super chats go away instantly, literally. I probably went 90 days without one. And look, I'm not a grifter. I'm not here for that reason. I'm not. But you sure as hell feel it. And it makes it a lot more difficult to do things like help people. I saw a comment in another person's chat the other day that said, I will never be able to forgive him for using his chat as a way to mine money out of people and rip them off. Do me a favor, please, right? Please. If I ripped you off, tell everybody right now. What did I rip you off for? What money did I take from anybody? I went away instead of standing up for myself, which isn't a good idea. But I didn't want to be here pumping out hate. And I'm not kidding you. I was cursing like a sailor. I sounded like I was back in prison. And I'm in a hotel room, right? And I got 2 cats, so you can't really get your room cleaned up because Squirrel Nut Zipper will make a run for it. Maybe not, but his dumb cat absolutely would. But my bed's made, and I'm journaling my ass off again, and I'm doing the things that I did. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I love you. Please take care. An empty cup has nothing to share. The Love Boat is a good name. I think it is. Christopher Cooper says, I sent a ton of money off my own back and I don't regret it 1 second. Thank you, Christopher Cooper. I appreciate that. And I don't, the super chats, I appreciate everybody that sent me super chats. That's not what I was accused of. You understand? What I was accused of was literally stealing tens of thousands of dollars off of women. And do you know how I was accused of doing this? I got them to send me nude pictures of them, and then I blackmailed them. This is the line of shit, by the way, that has been pumped out to the Department of Homeland Security, right? Honestly, this was the narrative. It was me getting all of you lovely women to send me nude photos and videos. And then I blackmailed you that I was going to put them up online if you didn't give me money. If you believe that, please unsub and walk away. I assure you this did not happen. Right? I promise you it didn't. It's a hell of a story, but it didn't happen. I said yesterday, the next time somebody sends an email to me and says, hey, this person's a real dirtbag, whatever, I'm going to forward it to the person, right? Never going to go down like that. People forwarded me emails today. Yeah. People did it to me today and said, hey, so-and-so warned me about you. Here, let me. And I don't want to out any of the people, but I will tell you this. One of the people in one of the emails said, that Alan Ballantyne lived with him for 4 months while I watched The Lifeboat. And you wouldn't believe it. Alan Ballantyne lived with me for 4 months? What? He vacationed. He came to visit with me in the United States. He said he had the best time he had ever had in his life. And then afterwards has decided that he hated me. And he came out and said that I ripped him off for thousands of dollars. And I'll tell you right now, the man sent me $1,000. I bought a computer with it, right? I had dumped coffee on the Squirrel Nut Zipper, dumped coffee on a computer, and I could not go live with a computer. I started to use an iPad. And he sent me money. I bought a new computer. I have the text messages. I said, hey, man, how do you want me to send this money back? And he said, no, man, it was a gift. Well, it was a gift until he wanted to use it as a way to call me a grifter. When he came to visit me, I gave him a 120-year-old gold pocket watch, solid gold, that I rebuilt from the ground up as a gift for him. I'll bet you he didn't mention that, right? For real. The gold weight of that watch is worth about $4,000. The fact that it's an antique, and it's a gorgeous watch, by the way. Now, you can't carry a watch like that to see what time it is. It's ridiculous. So I gave him a Rado. I don't know if you're familiar with the brand, but I gave him a bioceramic Rado, brand new in the box. It's not a Rolex, but it's a $2,000 watch. So you want the $1,000 back? Send me back both of those watches, and I'll be more than happy to send you whatever you say I owe you. But half truths, and I don't do this. I don't fire back. But you know what? I'm done taking the high road when the things that people are saying about me are mother effing lies. You have every right to hate me. I promise you do. I've done a lot of crap in my life that makes me hateable. Oddly enough, I shared it with all of you. Do you find it funny that I would choose to do all of that? Right? Choose to do all of that and then start ripping people off. The most painful thing that has happened to me. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you. One of the most painful things that has happened to me throughout all of this, and I'd love to out the person by name, but I'm not going to. But this person literally went out and said, I can't be around the guy. He's a con man. He's a scumbag. The day I met this person, I met them in someone else's chat, and they were lamenting that their overdosed child was going to be buried in a potter's grave because they could not afford to get the body sent home. So I said, please hit me with a direct message. I said it quietly as hell. Just hit me with a DM. And I said, my name is Tommy Scoville. I got a channel called The Lifeboat. We deal with addiction. I'll pay to bring your kid home. It's not my money. It's your money. It's the money you people gave me in super chats, right? Just like when someone said, I want to get on Suboxone and I can't afford it, right? The first year I paid for that. After that, you guys did. Huh. And we put literally over 130 people on the medical assisted treatment. I'm proud as hell of that. I'm not a con man. I was a hell of a con man for a long time. Yeah, I was. I really was. And I admitted it. And I told details of how I did it and everything else. And maybe that was a mistake. Right? Maybe that was a mistake. I am here to tell you today that if you were one of those people that decided to jump on the bandwagon and say that I was a scumbag, I don't care. For real. I'm done hating. So if you did that by accident, you did that on purpose, you want to still believe that, you're here because you don't like me and you just want to see that, I'm here to tell you that I'm forgiving everybody. Doesn't mean that Marilyn Honig is not going to court. What she did is heinous, and she did it intentionally. So that one's different. But I am going to choose to forgive every person that decided to say something bad about me without knowing any facts. And not because all of you deserve it, but because I'm never going to drink poison again and hope that it hurts someone else. It's downright stupid. Thank you, Maria. Please do support the channel. Yeah? The cheap way. I'd appreciate it. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell for notification, right? Give a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I'm a YouTuber. Seriously, if you haven't subscribed, do it right now. For real. I lost 5,000 subscribers. 5,000. It's painful. I promise you. Really, really painful. Audra in Denver says, no one tells me what to think. I respect that. More than you can possibly know. I respect that. I unfortunately got off of the beaten path on that. You know, I did. And I made some mistakes. Being in prison will leave a residual on you that isn't such a great thing. In prison, you got something called an ace deuce, right? You won't have two of them. You'll have one, right? And your ace deuce is a guy that you will fight for. And I don't mean like stand up for. I mean, you'll grab a piece, right? You'll grab a blade and go to work. He's the one guy in that prison. He's probably the guy that watches he sits in front of the shower while you're showering to make sure that nobody goes in there to try to hurt you, and vice versa, right? That's your guy. And you got one of those people. That's your ace deuce. You will do anything for that person, right? Unfortunately, some of that residual you take to the street, you know? And I defended people that I never should have defended, right? I made a video where I said, I'm standing with this person. And then I watched a video afterwards, and I watched him grab a woman and slam her as hard as he could into a brick wall. And it is what it is. I'm embarrassed, right, that I treated that dude like an ace deuce. He also buried a knife in my back as soon as everybody else started getting clicks off of it, right? Used my face in his thumbnail. By the way, I made 3 videos defending that man. From this point forward, if I'm standing up for somebody, it's because I know without a shadow of a doubt that that person is in the right. See, the problem with an ace deuce is this. Your ace deuce is a guy that if he comes in and says, hey, Tommy, we got problems. Yeah, what is it? 3 people are wanting to kill me. Why? Because I stole from them. Okay, well, normally in prison, that you're on your own, man. You stole, you're done. But not with your ace deuce. If your ace deuce does something wrong, if he's in the wrong, you're still going to fight for that person. I'm not doing that anymore. Ever. If you're going to live a life of a scumbag, then I'm not going to stand with you. I promise. I'm not going to go after you. I'm not going to make videos and hate on you. But I sure as shit am only going to stand up for people who I believe are doing the right thing. And there's a lot of people on this channel who I have probably encouraged to hate others. And for that, I am ashamed. But I'll tell you something. The phone call that I had with Reese, and again, we're not getting married, folks. But the phone call that I had with Reese, I can tell you right now, she made an effort in a way that I would have bet you my life would have never happened. Levels of honesty, and I'm not kidding. The 2 of us cried on the phone for a hot minute. And I would rather heal, right, than stay pissed off. And I would rather forgive than hate. And I would rather see a world that gave a crap about the people that need it the most. You know who the easiest people in the world are to hate? Huh? People who steal things, right? People who lie. These are the easiest people in the world to hate. Am I wrong? Huh? Most people who are stealing and doing those things are doing it to support a habit. You know? They're doing it to support a habit. I was absent from YouTube for a while, but glad to be back on the boat. Do you still talk to Casper on Sundays? I do not. Casper does not like me. Never got a phone call from him. Casper just decided one morning I showed up to do our morning show together and wasn't allowed in. I was blocked out. And he started to tell the world what a scumbag I was and all of what a bad human being I was and this and that. Left field, completely blindsided. And in that video, he said, get used to it, Tommy. It's not your audience anymore. It's mine. And you know what? That's exactly what he was looking for. Right? And that's unfortunate. It really is. I hope he makes a living. I hope he can take care of his family. We won't be doing anything together, I promise you. He said a lot of things about me that he knows aren't true. He said a lot of things about me that he has no intention of taking back. And you know what? One of his mods reached out to me, right? Sent me email to tell me that a story that I won't share with you guys. I won't. But what I will say is this: pray for him. For real, pray for him. Because a YouTuber, right, who's putting up a GoFundMe to make the rent, right, especially one that's been to prison 3 or 4 times, is probably not heading in a great direction, right? So please keep him in your prayers. And by the way, after he trashed me, I mailed him Birth Watch, a watch that was made the year that he was born. And I did that because I told him I was going to before he decided to trash me. And you can say whatever the hell you want. I do keep my word. And he mocked me. I didn't watch the video, but apparently he mocked me about the watch. I did it from honestly, from a place of love. Maybe I'm an idiot. Taylor Miller, thank you so much for the super chat. You know how good it feels to see super chats, people, and it's not because of the money. Honestly, it's not. It's because it feels like old times. And you know what? I loved this. I loved this. I never had more fun in my life than when I was doing YouTube. And I'm sorry that things worked out the way they did because, to be really honest, I made great content with some of these people. I did. There were some of these people that when we did stuff together, it was magic, right? It was magic. And I'm sorry that magic went away. But my reaction to all of it has been horrific. And I owe an apology to all of you for it. For real. The day after the long con video, I should have just gone back to doing business as usual. I should have come on here and I should have done love and I should have done everything I could to help people get sober and stay sober. I didn't. I ran. And I ran because it hurt. It hurt. I don't remember, 400 or 500 emails that are some of the most reprehensible things. You would not believe some of the things that people said to me. Threats, all kinds of crap. And by the way, I haven't had a day without a death threat. I'm not kidding you. I have not had a day without a death threat since about the 3rd week of the lifeboat. And it's a joke. It's no big deal. It's not a death threat. It literally says it's not a question of if, it's a question of when you will be found dead with a needle in your arm. Sends it every single night. And people go, why don't you block him? I've blocked him 700 times. He just gets a new email address. So it gets tiring. I don't even bother anymore. I don't even bother opening it. It's a waste of time. And it's a loose cannon. It's all bark, no bite. This person's not going to do anything. But towards the end there in America, that hate became real. It spilled out into the real world. There were so many people that believed that I was an abuser of women. Folks, I have never had a domestic violence arrest. I've never, neither is my brother. I've never hit a woman, never put my hands on a woman ever. In fact, I have kicked the ever-loving shit out of so many men for doing it. Like if you hit a woman and I saw it, you got your ass kicked. Or you took me out, but I was going to swing at you. It's not something I would have allowed to happen to anybody ever. Now, some of these people who are beating on me, run their records, right? I know for a fact that some of these people, in fact, one in particular, has 3 domestic violence charges and has the balls to accuse me of being mean to women. The thing that ran me off of YouTube more than anything is I am not a misogynist, right? I loved it when people said, you got to not use the C word. I used it. I did. I used it when I found out that somebody had opened my phone and looked in it. I lost my mind, right? Because a deal had been made that would never happen. I regret saying that word more than anything. For real. It has been for probably most of my adult life. I said it not to my sister, but with my sister standing there when I was 13 years old. My sister would have been 19. She was 6 years older than me. She slapped me in the face so hard it almost knocked me out. And my sister is the most loving human being. My brother can tell you. And she's teeny. I got, 85 pounds on her. Maybe more than that. She slapped me in the face so hard. I said, what the hell is the matter with you? And she said, a woman, right? You are going to take a woman and reduce her to one part of her body and use the most reprehensible name of that part that you can. So to all of the people that reached out and said, hey, can I give you some advice? Stop calling women that. That hurt me so badly. I love women. I really do. I had an audience that was 85% female. You got any idea how bizarre that is on YouTube? Huh? Do you have any clue how bizarre that is on YouTube? Almost my entire audience was female. So it was a kick in the junk to be accused of being a misogynist or a wife beater or any of the other things that people have accused me of. One second here. Tommy, I learned your real name from that lady. I did my research and felt guilty afterwards for having to research. I see the name from your old life. I don't watch. I state. I don't wish to see. Brett Miller is the name that I was born with. And you know what? I never hid it. If you go and you look at my if the about page on YouTube, my real name is there. I never hid my name. This was not like the guys who come out and go, do you know what his real name is? Go to where it says about. My real name is listed there. I didn't try to hide it. What happened is my brother was famous. By the time I got out of prison, my brother had already done a reality show, right? Under the name Johnny Scoville. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we look a hell of a lot alike. And his brother was in prison. But a lot of the stories that he told, I was in. And he wasn't going to use my name. So he would tell stories of his brother, Tommy. So by the time I got out of prison, I already had a new name. I didn't do it to hide. Right? I got nothing to hide. It's not very difficult to look up people. Now, I have said multiple times, if what I was accused of, right, I would have gone to prison for that. I didn't, right? Why not? I would be a registered sex offender. I'm not. People like to go, oh, because it happened before that. Yeah, you're an ignoramus. The law was passed in 1994, and it is a retroactive law. If you rape somebody in 1975, you still have to register, right? When you go to get your driver's license, they're going to run your shit and they're going to go, uh-oh, no, you need to register. And then they're going to give you a 1-year license, right? Sex offenders have to go back each year because they want to make sure that they know where those people are. I didn't have to register as a sex offender because what I did was illegal. Absolutely, it was illegal. But it sure as shit isn't what people saying I did. And you know what? It's not pleasant to talk about. But on the bright side, I have every single bit of proof of what I'm telling you. And the fun part is I don't have to prove any of it. Right? The person that's been lying about me this entire time has to prove it. You know what? This is why I do what I do. I just got a text that said, I'm 4 months sober. And I'm watching you right now. The rest of it's all bullshit. It is. I'm doing what I'm doing, not because I want money or anything else, but because I want to help clean up this absolute cesspool, right? That YouTube has become, because it used to be really, really fantastic. This used to be such an unbelievable place. Right? It was a place of healing and a place of growth. And you know what? It's coming back, folks. And it's coming back right freaking here. Right? I promise you, 7 days a week. And it's going to be the Love Boat. I did not run from America to get away from something. Right? I didn't. In fact, you can't. If you want to emigrate, you got to prove there were no open cases and all of that crap. It's an unbelievable pain in the ass. I wanted a new start. I wanted to be able to go somewhere, right? I wanted to go somewhere where I could feel like this was brand new. And I never felt that anywhere in America. Maybe it was because I visited too many states while a federal inmate. Maybe it was because I did so much dirt in that country that everywhere I looked, I was reminded of the times that I wasn't such a great person. But God Almighty, it's nice here. Any guide on moving forward to a new chapter? How did you choose? I'll tell you what. Audra in Denver says, I wish I was sober. Audra, send me an email, please. It's my name at gmail.com. Please do. All right? Put I wish I was sober in the title and send me an email, please. It's never too hard, I promise. If I could get off dope, there's not a human being on planet Earth that can't, because I was the biggest junkie that ever lived. So please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. JJ, great to see you. Yeah, you know how you start a new chapter for real? This is how you start a new chapter, by ending the one that you're on. You feel me? You know that, hey, today's the first day of the rest of your life thing? Is that the terrible old cliche? There's a reason cliches are the way they are. I got up one day and I said into the mirror, I never felt dumber in my entire life. But Q said to me, you're going to feel stupid. I can't even say the words that he used on here because it's just, but he said, you're really going to feel dumb doing this. But I looked in the mirror and I said, you're not a loser and you're not a scumbag. Because I had convinced myself my entire life that I was. And there's a lot of things on this channel that I haven't shared with people. Or I've barely touched on, right? I am a SA survivor. And it's not, the decisions that I made in my life, I don't blame on anybody but me, right? But I am a survivor of childhood SA. And admitting that started a new chapter in my life when I was able to say that out loud. And the first time I was able to say, you know what? I'm a drug addict, was massive. Because I used to say stuff like, yeah, I'm wicked out of control. Or, yeah, I can't quit right now because, you know, I caught a habit, but I'll be able to kick this. The moment that I said, I'm an effing drug addict, right? I'm a junkie. I am what I didn't want to be. For me, it was 3 steps, for real. And I didn't invent them, but it was a 3-step program. And the first step was I wrote down every single reason on planet Earth I had to want to get sober. And you go, well, those are obvious. No, they're not. Because I hated myself. People say, you got to do it for you. If you're going to get sober, you got to do it for you. I hated me more than anybody on earth hates me now, I promise you. But I didn't hate my brother. And I didn't hate my dad. And I didn't hate my son. And I didn't hate my daughter. And I was letting all of those people down. So I listed those people as the reasons that I wanted to get sober. I didn't want to disappoint the people that had stood by me when they didn't have one friggin' reason left to stand by me. Right? The second step, he said, if somebody knew every single thing there was to know about you, everything, think of God, because it makes it pretty easy, right? He would say a friend, but they knew everything there was to know about you. How would they describe you? Write it down. And I went back to him like 6 minutes later and I was like, I did it. And he's like, are you shitting me? He's like, no, you didn't. Because it would take a hell of a lot longer than you just put into it. And over the course of the next 2 days, I wrote down every single thing that someone would really say about me. And the first thing that they would have said is I was a liar. I was a heroin addict. I had to lie to everybody, right? I had to, because every single thing that I did, I had to lie about, or you were going to find out I was a junkie. Second thing I wrote down is I was a thief. You left your wallet out on the table, I was going to steal it. And if I didn't think I could get away with that, I would at least peel a few bills out of it. I started going through all of them, and you know what? It was painful as shit. It really was. And when I was done, and it was pages, I went to him, and I'm not kidding, folks. I was as close to bumping myself off as I had ever been. I hated myself so much at that moment because I literally had just written down what someone would say if they were going to describe me. And I went to him and I said, I don't know if I can keep doing this, dog. This program ain't going to work for me, man. I can't. And he said, well, now I want you to go in there, go back and write down what you wish that person would say about you. And it's funny because it's almost like a photo negative, right? I wrote down, I want people to believe the things that I say. I want people to say he's truthful. I want people to say, if Tommy says that he's going to pay you Tuesday at 3:00, then you know sure as shit you're getting paid Tuesday at 3:00. Or if he says that he loves you, it means that he loves you. Or if he says he doesn't like you, trust and believe he doesn't like you. But my word was going to mean something. And I was not going to steal from anybody ever again. And I got news for you. I kept that effing promise. If you don't believe that, you got your right to your beliefs. But since getting out of prison, I haven't robbed anybody of anything. I haven't. Yeah. Did people donate? Yeah. 2 people donated outside of super chats, right? In both cases, that money didn't go into to my pocket or buy me watches, right? Or toys. It went into therapy and it went into medical assisted treatment. It spread love and it left the earth a better effing place than I found it. And you know what? I'm proud of me. But I'm more proud of this channel. For real. Because this channel's a whole lot better than me. For real. This channel is a hell of a lot better than me. Lisa, I promise you I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Let me see if I can get this. It's a little out of practice, folks. I only had you to stand by me, Tommy, and I think you've done it. Thank you. Christopher, you got no idea what that means. You really don't. There's going to be a hell of a lot of love here on the love boat. If you can't handle that, you're going to have such an easy time finding some other channel to pump out hate. For real. They're everywhere. Apparently it sells. You know what? Not here, it doesn't. So I don't have any hate left for anybody. Not even the scumbags, and they are. Not even the scumbag racists, right? Who called up government agencies to tell them that I was blackmailing women, right? That I had naked pictures of for money and that's how I was living. I don't hate those people. I don't have time for it. I really don't. Christopher, I love you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Proud of you. Jordan says, I absolutely feel at home in this group, and I'm looking forward to seeing you happy and moving forward. Thank you, Jordan. You know what? This friggin' channel was famous, not because of me, but because everybody in the chat was the most welcoming. I got that comment more than any other comment ever. I've never been to a channel where the people in the chat were kinder. Somebody would pop in and no one knew who they were. 50 of you would go, welcome to the boat. Man, it's good to have you here, right? Instantly. It's what made us different. Honest to God. There's not a lot of things in my life that I can look back and be proud about. For real. Up until about 10 years ago, there was nothing in my life that I could be proud about. but I'm proud as hell of what I built on YouTube, and I'm not going to let it go away. And I'm going to fight to bring it back, and I'm going to fight with love. I promise you. Yeah, I'm going to kill them with kindness. That's everybody, except you know who. I'm not going to get away with doing that crap. Words mean things, right? I've never molested a child, so get ready to prove that in court. And keep laughing and keep making more videos, Sunshine, because you're making my job a hell of a lot easier. But I promise you, this is going to be a channel that is nothing but love, right? This is going to be, I kid you not, the Love Boat. And oh my goodness, let me go, Lena. I forgot how to use the. I really want to get this. Let me see if I can do it this way. DS Kitty Diane. I really want to put that up there. Can I find it? Can I find it? I don't know what's going on with that. Nope, I can't. DS Kitty Diane says, this is beautiful, Tommy. Thank you for the super chat. I really wish I could put it up on the screen. Oh, I know what I can do. Check this out. Been a long time, people. Shows you how long this has been, doesn't it? Hold on. Thank you, Diane. Thank you. And thank you to all of you who have come back in kindness. And you know something? I know that a lot of you are here because of something said by somebody else. I didn't listen to the shows. And I didn't listen to them because I don't normally listen to any show where people are talking about me. I learned early on in the game it will drive you insane. I got a content creator that reached out to me to apologize and say, you know, I'm really sorry for all of the videos that I made about you. I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? I mean, I've heard your name. I know that you trashed me, but I've never seen any of the videos that you made about me. I haven't. I don't watch any of that crap. You know why? Because hate sticks to you. Unfortunately, I did find myself mired in it. But I'm back, baby. I swear to God, I'm back. So if you're wanting to live your best life, or you're trying to get off dope, or you want to quit drinking, and you don't feel like you can, well, then maybe you can just cut back, huh? Maybe we can just work on a little harm reduction. But this is going to be a channel of love and support. If that doesn't jive with you, you know what a door is. But if you remember the good old days where everybody here supported one another, right? Where we lifted up people who were having bad days. And we all rooted for everyone else's success. If you remember those days, come on back. It'll still say TLB, right? But the L will stand for love. And that's how it's going to be from this point forward. And I would like to say, I know it's going to bother a bunch of people, but I would like to shout out a thank you to Reese for kindness, for doing, honestly, everything in her power to be kind, because there is just not enough of it going on, and she didn't have to. But we had a beautiful conversation, and I am a better person today than I was yesterday. And you know what? If that doesn't put lead in your pencil, you're probably in the wrong place. I am so happy this place is back to loving. So happy for your new adventure, too. Congratulations. Thank you, Hope Between the Dreams. Oh, and there will be adventures. We're going to take you on some really cool adventures. We're going to show you some very, very cool parts of South America. Thank you, Angela. You know what? I appreciate you saying that you're proud of me, and I appreciate you saying that you're proud of her. A breakup as ugly as the one that we had, it's almost impossible to believe that someone could get past that. But I promise you, man, you can. And I want to tell you something, Audra. You're giving me hope, Tommy. Well, I was kind of known for that for a few years. And I'm here to tell you something. You can do this. You know how I know that? because I had a $650 to $750 a day heroin habit. And I did it for about 3 decades. And I believed that it was impossible to get through a day without heroin. And you know what? As bad as it got, right? Hundreds of people calling me a scumbag and all of the other stuff. I got off track, folks, but I didn't do any smack, right? I didn't lose my sobriety. I relapsed to beat hell, but I never put the needle in my arm. I never went back to the chemical. But you got to believe that if I didn't start, cat's out of control. But you got to believe that if I didn't start doing what I'm doing right now, just would have been a matter of time before I would have been back on dope. So welcome to the Love Boat. Audra, send me an email. Let's get you a game plan going, please. Christopher, God, I love you, man. And to all of you and all of the kind things that you have said to me here today, you have no idea what it means to me. You really don't. I said to my brother today, how could it get any better? It's better. It really is. It's better. And hopefully we're going to be in our home here in a day or two. And when we are in the home, we will be doing a hell of a lot more content, because living in a Motel 6 size hotel room with 2 cats and about five suitcases and 2 full cases full of watches, right? This is kind of a difficult thing to pull off, but we're going to be signing the papers and taking care of business to get into our home. And when we do, you're going to be seeing a lot more of us. And I'll tell you something, if you don't love, then you're in the wrong place. I promise. But if you remember the good old days, they're back. In fact, I will be better. On that, I promise you. I'm not guilty of the things that I have been accused of. That's the truth. But I'm guilty of not being the person that I encouraged other people to be, if that makes sense. I was really good at giving advice, and I was really good at helping people get moving in the right direction. And then I stopped doing the things that worked. Okay? It's not going to happen again. On that, you have my word. Between now and the next time that I see you, please spread a little love. And if you find yourself, right, anywhere where hate is around you, you don't have to participate in hate for it to stick to you. I promise you. You're infamous for loving love. I love that. All of us can do this. 4 months, join the Love Boat, and let's all love each other and help each other and feed from Tommy's positivity. I promise you, folks, if you dig positivity, you're in the right place, because I'm back. I'm back. And you know what? I love you guys. I mean that. From the bottom of my heart, I mean that. I love you. And to those of you who are back, thank you. And to those of you who, in the face of all of this bullshit, stood toughly by my side, God bless you too. Lisa Trimble got thrown into this mix because they decided to say that I ripped Lisa off. And she is the person no one on earth would like to not be involved in something like any of that more than Lisa. And she left a comment, I think it was yesterday, that said, I'm the person they said he ripped off. And obviously I'm here, so he didn't. And you know what? She's a very private person. I know that was tough, and it means the world to me that she did that. I mean it. And I don't want to put anyone else on the spot because the haters will go after them. But there are about 4 or 5 of you, and you know who you are, right? There are dozens of you, but there are 4 or 5 of you that without you, I'm not sure where I would be right now. Because there were days I literally wanted to just cash it in. You know, it hurts when you build something. You know, I got out of prison and I wanted to build a new human. And I did. And I was so damn proud of that human. And the next thing you know, that human was a pariah and a scumbag and a con man and a liar and it was more than I could take. And instead of going back to the people that loved me, I ran away from them. The opposite of addiction, right, is connection. And as I've said a million times, the opposite of everything else that's effing up your life is connection. And what did I do? I disconnected. That's on me. I love you all, and I will never do that again. You hear me? I won't. So if you need help and you need support, you've come to the right place. Between now and the next time I see you, spread a little love. I am Tommy Scoville, and this has been The Love Boat. We'll see you all tomorrow. God bless you. Spread a little love in your heart.